Hi, you just tuned in to the Out of the Nowhere podcast, the life advice and anything in between podcast where we talk about how absolutely nothing in your life comes out of nowhere. There's always a story, there's always a path, and there's always something to learn. Come back weekly to shoot the shit with me, your host, KG, while I share some of my stories, some anecdotes, maybe ask you a question or two, a product might be sprinkled in there. Join the fun. Hello, welcome back to Out of the Nowhere, where absolutely nothing happens out of the nowhere. If you follow me on Instagram, I know I told you guys that there was no episode this week, but I got my shit together. My little lavalier microphone came in. So I'm just feeling like, let's just give it a try. I'm hoping the audio is good. Fingers crossed. If you don't know, I record this on my iPhone and upload it, all of that. And I record everything else, like the whole audio version, using this little blue Yeti microphone. We may upgrade soon, but we gotta start getting some monetization going here or something Anyway, welcome back to Out of the Nowhere, where absolutely nothing happens out of the nowhere. It's me, KG. Hope you guys are doing fantastically. Oh, that was cute. That was cute. Anyway, this episode I actually didn't even really prep much for. And if you guys have been listening all the way back to whenever, I really should just come on here and just start talking. Insanity. I would just be rambling, just chitting and chatting, minding my beeswax. No prep, no nothing. Sometimes I'd have a little bit of a moment, something where something would trigger me and I'd come on and want to talk about it or whatever. But for the most part, I used to just come on here and talk. And now I've been trying to do a little bit better with my prep and making sure I have, the items I want to show you if it's something like that. But today is one of those throwback episodes where I'm just kind of here talking. I do have one thing that I want to talk about, and it's literally this water bottle. Now, do I wish that it was sweat proof and all of that? Yes. But is it nice because it holds a half a gallon of water? Absolutely. For whatever reason, since I have been, not even that. In recent months, I just have not been drinking enough water. I have the little Stanleys, the Simple Moderns, all that cute shit, right? But I'm not drinking enough water. I think before I used to just be sitting at this desk all day, just chugging water for no business, for no reason. Why can't I even get the words out? Because the bitch is dehydrated. That's why. I don't know. I haven't been drinking enough water. So right now it's noon and I've already drank one of these fully, 63 ounces or whatever it is. Yeah, 63 ounces. Because I just need to get my water intake up. I need to do better in that realm. So here we are. That water bottle is bomb. I got it from Amazon. I want to say it was under $25, unlike every other cup that I own. That's $40. Please, if you see me trying to purchase another Stanley cup, another BAAAAD, another Simple Modern, whatever that is, $45 fucking dollars, punch me in the face. Actually, don't punch me in the face. Y'all hear they was doing that in New York? That random man, I don't know. It sounded like something. I was about to say something racist. Let me not say that. Anyway, it's some crazy ass mess. Why are you punching people on the street? Let's get that together. Let's actually reel that the fuck in. No. Any case, hello. Hi. It's currently Wednesday. I'm going to try to get this up and upload it everywhere today, so you guys have it for the rest of the week. But I actually want to just talk about, and this is something that kind of came up in a conversation I was having with a friend, and it made me stop and think about how internalized this is and how strange it is. Actually in 3 separate conversations, which the episode that I'm going to record right after this is going to finally be about signs of alignment. And I want to talk more about it, but being the ugly friend now, okay, hear me out, right? Hear me out. I feel like people that love me are going to be like, oh, you're not the ugly friend, right? Right. I know. Now I know. But I think in the past, I did not. So I kind of wanted to expand on that a little bit more, talk to you guys about my ugly friend story, and kind of just outline the reasons why I thought this and how I was able to move through it. And also just the other things that it affected across my life. Feeling like you're the ugly friend always had me feeling away. I'm always feeling away. I'm always trying to overcompensate for something. I feel like this is the female equivalent of, or maybe I guess men can have this too, right? Whatever. I feel like this is the equivalent of having a small dick and you're trying to do too much. You know what I mean? You're doing too much, brother. You're doing too much. Anyway, so growing up, obviously, I'm not obviously, but I am from like a predominantly white area. And to be fully honest with you, there just weren't a lot of Black people around aside from my family members. And I've always internalized this thing. And please tell me if you are this way. But I've always internalized this thing where like your family's gonna lie to you. Like I feel like my family is full of liars. I love them down, but I feel like they're gonna lie to you. They're gonna say like, "Oh no, you look beautiful," even though you might be looking a mess. Because I be seeing it on Facebook. I see y'all bullface lying. I'm not lying with y'all. I'm not lying with y'all. We be seeing so and so looking fucking crazy as hell. I'm not commenting. I'm actually gonna keep on scrolling because what I'm not gonna do is hurt your feelings, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you because that's not nice, right? That's just me. I'm not gonna do it. I feel like my family's like, I feel like my family full of liars. They're gonna say you look cute regardless, right? So as I was growing up, I'm a little bit chunkier, especially when we get to like that middle school, high school age. I'm a little bit chunkier, and at that point, I wasn't even really tall. If you don't know, I'm 6'2", or like not really. I'm actually like 6'1.5" for real. But you know, like 6'1.5" basically. But you know, when you put on a shoe, that extra half an inch is gone. Like any type of shoe, it's gone. So I'm, you know, at that point I was probably like maybe like 5'3", 5'4", 5'5" Like I didn't really grow until I got to ninth grade. And I remember just kind of being a little bit awkward. Like I think everyone goes through this awkward like puberty stage. You feel like you look a little bit funny, whatever it might be. But I was like a little bit chunkier, and my mom used to always make little comments about the way that I was looking in my little bathing suit and how I need to wear a tankini. That scarred me for life. I don't think she realized it, but it's okay. And I don't know, I just felt weird in my body. Like I felt weird. And then all my friends were white, right? Like I think I might have had like one Black friend at that point because there was only 5 of us for real. So all my friends were white, and I feel like, and this is something that I don't think people talk about enough, is like there's a difference in standards of beauty, I believe, across like Black people and white people, or just like not even like people of color or whatever. Like I feel like there's like a different standard of beauty. So I feel like in that period of time, it was the little blonde, super skinny, Hollister, Abercrombie. I think that was definitely across the board. Like everybody was looking at that. But being in that predominantly white area and that being the standard had me feeling like, oh, I look crazy. I can't even fit shit in Hollister. My mom's actually not buying that. It was really that she couldn't buy that. Or not couldn't. She just wasn't buying that. She said she was not buying them $40 jeans. She was not, like, whatever it was, she was not doing it. We were going to Macy's. We were scouring the racks, whatever, which is fine. Because, I mean, that built up my life now and, like, the way that I shop. And I like to shop everywhere. Anyway, so she was just not doing that. So I was not fitting into like the standard. I wasn't looking like everybody else. And obviously here I am, this like Black girl, whatever, in this sea of caucasity. So that was like strike number one. I feel like that was strike number one for sure. And then as far as like being attracted to Black men, that was definitely not happening at my school. The niggas at my school, I'm not trying to be rude. The niggas at my school were not giving. They weren't giving. And so that wasn't cute. And then the ones that like the one or ones that might have been were like not giving, like, I don't know, just wasn't giving, looking at me. So that was also strange. So that led to me being a little bit more of like a later bloomer. We get into high school, I start like shooting up in height, and I'm taller than 90% of people. So now I'm like tall. I think I'm ugly. I'm like, I'm not wearing what everybody else is wearing. I feel like an oddball because here I am, this like tall Black woman in this like sea of caucasity. I'm going to say it again. Like in this sea of just like white people. I don't know. It was just weird. It was like the weirdest environment I'd ever been in. And like you watch television, you're watching BET, you're watching shows or whatever, and you're seeing a diverse group of people. You're seeing Black people of all different shapes, colors, sizes, or whatever. But that's not my reality. So I'm sitting here feeling funny as hell. So then we fast forward. So I'm still internalizing this. I'm thinking I look funny, all this shit, right? I'm internalizing this. I get to college. I get my first group of like Black girlfriends, right? And they were cool. Like we were cool. It was great, you know, whatever. I mean, I great to a certain extent. But that was my first, then me being a little bit insecure, had my first brush of like haterdom, right? And this was like the weirdest kind because it's somebody that's like supposed to be like kind of your friend, kind of not your friend. And one thing that I will tell people is like, you really need to listen to your intuition, because there was always a moment where I was like, this girl really isn't my friend for real. Like, she's their friend, like the other couple girls in our friend group, but she's not really my friend. She's always making comments that are making me feel like I'm funny looking, or like, I'm just not giving, always like bigging up the other girls and what they have going on, but like kind of just brushing me to the side. And I internalized that. And as someone who was insecure and had like lower self-confidence, I'm like, oh, I must look fucking nuts. Every time I'm always like, I must look fucking nuts. And even though like the other girlfriends were like, no, you look cute, da 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 da, I'm like, they're lying, right? I don't know why. In my mind, I had told myself that anybody that tells me something nice about myself, like they're lying. So at that point, Rocky, Jesus Christ, I'm recording a podcast. Anyway, guys, this is real life. If you're watching this in the video, I'm sure you can probably see him in the background rolling around like he's having the best afternoon of his life. Sir, please go to the other room. Cut that. Now here we go into the, I'm actually not cutting that out at all. So, hey. So now I'm dealing with this friend group, whatever, it's fine. And this girl's always making weird comments. Now, looking back, she actually looks like a gremlin. I'm not going to lie to you. She kind of looks like a gremlin. And I know that's not nice to say about people, but I said it. So, cool. We worked through that friendship, that friend group. I actually end up not being friends with most of those people anymore. She and I ended up having a falling out. There was a whole moment about that. I want to say I talked about it in a previous episode. She was one of my roommates, but like, we don't have to rehash that. So then we get into the next friend group. So now here I am again in a situation that's similar to what my PWI experience or like, PWA experience was before. I have like, a couple white friends or whatever, and we're hanging out and we're cool. And I still feel like the fucking oddball, bro. Still feel kind of weird, still feeling like, oh, I'm not as cute as them or whatever the situation might be. At this point, like, I'm fully like a 21-year-old. I'm like in my adult body shape, which is definitely a lot different than my high school one. You know what I mean? Like not skinny, not fat kind of vibes. You know what I mean? And I'm still feeling funny. I'm still feeling weird. And this is like all stemming from a little bit of like lack of self-confidence, even self-trust. Cause I knew that like I could dress. I knew that I can pick out a cute outfit. I knew that my hair was always popping. You know what I mean? Like I knew I had my shit going, but something internally was telling me that I was funny looking. Something internally was telling me that like, absolutely not. And I even had a boyfriend at the time and was feeling like, I don't know, like he lying too, which is wild as fuck. And I think it also stems a little bit from like on another tangent. I feel like there's something in my aura. There's something in my energy that gives like, don't talk to me. And I don't have like retching. I don't have resting bitch face or anything. At least I don't believe so. Oh, let me not hit the microphone. At least I don't believe so. But I don't know if it's just like, I don't know, my energy. I've heard people say that I'm intimidating. I've heard people say that I look like I have a boyfriend. Bitch, how you look like that? How do I look like that? What are you talking about? I don't know. Any case, I feel like people are just really intimidated. And that's like their issue, to be honest with you. Now, that's what I think now. But at that time, I was like, oh my God, no one approaches me. Nobody talks to me. Like it was a whole thing, right? So then I still have those friends, like life is cool. But then I get this new job. I'm working at this job and it's mad black people. And I fucking love black people. I really do. And my current friend group, actually, I met most of them there. And I started hanging around other black girls and whatever. And suddenly I realized, like, one, I'm actually not ugly. Two, I feel like I was just I was in the wrong situation. Like I might've been in the wrong area. And I know people talk about this all the time. Like maybe it's not you, it's where you are, or it's not you, it's who you're hanging out with or whatever. And that is so true. I don't know if any of you have ever explored location astrology, or sometimes they call it astrocartography, or relocation astrology or astrocartography. And basically what it will do is like chart your birth chart across the world map and kind of see the places that align for you based on your different placements and signs and whatever in these different lines. If you go online and look at it, it looks like the most intimidating thing in the entire world. I will put some links to a few Etsy sellers that do relocation astrology chart readings for you. I did 2 separate ones, and I also believe there's someone that does it face-to-face, like over a Zoom call with you as well. I think the Cosmic Latte does that, so I'll link her as well. But essentially they can chart where you're kind of supposed to be and what energies of different cities and areas will do for you. And I realized like I've just been in the wrong spot. I looked through and it's so funny because there's like certain areas of the world that I've always been drawn to, like for whatever reason, like Texas and like the Pacific Northwest kind of area or whatever. And I couldn't figure out why. And then I get this relocation chart, and some of the first places on that chart for different parts of life are those 2 areas, which I was like, okay, interesting. for the Texas line or whatever, that was more so like a Venus line. So it was definitely a lot more like attraction and relationships and things like that. And then the Pacific Northwest was on my my MC line, which is more so like my career, my life path and things like that. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, wow, this is actually crazy. And it's so funny how you feel things and you don't know why. But in any case, it just made me start to think about like your place and your time and kind of what you grow up around and kind of what you see and the things that bring in that confidence, the things that bring in that self-trust, the things that help you feel a certain kind of way. And I feel like it's so important. And I talk about this a lot with one of my best friends about like being surrounded by like love and people that are going to, you know, big you up and really just make you feel powerful and make you and help you get to know yourself and your worth and all of that. Because I think, and also people that look like you. I think that's the main thing. Like your family is one thing, but you know, even having like aunties and cousins and things that are like constantly around and whatever that is, I think that's really important, especially as like a young Black girl navigating through the world. Like you need to be surrounded by people that look like you and people that support you in that kind of way. And it's invaluable. It's one of those things that you don't realize how much that helps you until you don't really have it. So now having like a bunch of like Black female friends, even like male friends or whatever, but like just being around people that look like me and think the same way and have similar experiences, or maybe not even the same experience, but you know, like similar, because here we are, Black. Oh my God, that sounded ashy as fuck. My hand is not ashy, I promise. Oh, maybe it is. Anyway, I can't even be serious. But honestly, that was something that really brought me to a place of like, oh, okay. So it's not just me. It's just like my environment. It's my environment. So that's okay. That's fine. We can change our environment, especially as an adult. Like you can change your environment. As a kid, you don't have that much autonomy as far as, you know, where you live and whatever that looks like. Now, if somebody would have asked me, I definitely would have said we don't need to be in East Bumblefuck. Just saying. But you know, for the future. And obviously, like with each generation, you want to get better and you want to learn from the next and kind of take your, maybe even like your traumas or, you know, the things that you've learned from your childhood and from your life and implement them for your children and your family. So that's definitely one thing that I really want to bring into the next generations that I have the privilege to nurture. But I also feel like then, because I was always distrusting my intuition, like, you know, there was moments, like I said, I knew that girl was not my friend. I knew she didn't really like me, but there was something that I was distrusting within my intuition. Or, you know, like you talk to somebody and they're actually really shitty, but you knew they were shitty. Like you felt like they were shitty when you first started talking to them, but because nobody talks to you, like, okay, cool. There's moments like that that really start to then have you backfire. Not even backfire. I want to try to use a different word, but it kind of makes you distrust your own self-trust. So then at some point you just obliterate it. Like you don't have any self-trust anymore. It's like so many times of you going back on, you know, your gut feeling or, you know, just something that seems a little bit eerie. Eventually it's just like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to sit in the back seat. Like your intuition just says like, oh, all right, well, she got it. Your brain got it. All right, fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. And I can say that I can say that I probably have gotten a lot less heartbreak, a lot less sadness if I would have just listened to my intuition instead of being a like silly goose and deciding like, oh no, it's fine. No, it's okay. It's not okay, bitch. It's not okay. And I feel like self-trust is so important because self-trust is what allows you to go out on a limb. Self-trust is what allows you to try some new things or just know that like you got you, right? And it took me a long time to get to a place where I realized that like I got me. I'll figure it out. And not from like a hyper independent standpoint or anything, but it's just from a place of like I trust myself because I know that I would never let myself down. And there's so many times where I've let myself down, whether it was like, you know, having these unrealistic expectations of things or, you know, whatever, what have you. There's been so many times where I've let myself down because I'm doing too much. And because I'm trying to control somebody else's situation or I'm trying to, you know, at will the outcome or whatever it might be. No, if it's not like, if you're not handling it, you can't have any type of expectation on something that you're not executing, at least that's how I feel for myself. And, or you can't have an expectation on how someone's going to treat you when you already know they don't really like you that much, or whatever that is. And allowing myself to get into spaces where I'm consistently surrounding myself with these people that don't even really like me, it starts to hurt. Like it starts to hurt. It starts to hurt. And then you're like, oh, well, why would it be that way? Or whatever. Girl, you made it that way. You've surrounded yourself with those people. You put yourself in that situation. So now, like, I don't trust myself anymore. And then not trusting myself led me to have even lower self-confidence, because here I am feeling like, oh, even when I try to do XYZ, it's still shitty. And it wasn't until more recently, and I know I've talked about it a lot, about like, my self-confidence journey and kind of just like self-love in general. And I think we tend to generalize self-love or self-care. And, we're talking about manicures and whatever. It was so much deeper than that. It was so much more of just me allowing my own energy to flourish, dancing in the kitchen, saying things in my weird voices to people that aren't just, not people that are just close, like allowing myself and allowing my personality to actually flourish and to be seen, instead of always trying to keep it behind because I felt like it was too much or nobody would like me or whatever that is. Like at this point, I would rather be adverse to you. I would rather me be myself and you realize you don't like me and we could see that plain and clear and just cut the shit, than, me try to be something that I'm not. And then at the end of the day, I don't even know what's happening here. Like, I don't even know how to be your friend. I don't even know how to, exist in XYZ relationship, because I'm not being myself, because I wasn't confident in who I was initially. So now I have to keep up this front. Or, I didn't trust that the person that I am would attract who I wanted or whatever that is. And the moment I realized that the person that I am is exactly who's going to attract what I want, then I need to, or at least the person that I want to be, the person I'm working toward is going to attract what I want. I don't have time. I don't have time to be suppressing things or holding pieces back or whatever that may be. I'd have to let it all hang out. And that goes all the way back to feeling like I was a 12-year-old kid that was a little bit too chunky. Your mom told you had to wear a tankini or telling you to get something with some ruching so it will take away from, your little kid stomach. Like that's like a thing. And to internalize that forever and to sit here and think like, oh my goodness, like that one, like those little tiny, like minute comments or whatever from people that you love or that you surround yourself with or whatever can really stick with you longer than you think that you, longer than you, can I get the words together? Am I like having an emotional response? Longer than you think that they will. And I didn't realize that I had been holding on to that for damn near 15 years. Like 15 years after it was said to me, I'm still feeling away. Trying to wear a shirt that's a little bit more billowy or whatever it might be, like hiding the way that I look. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Or like, oh, why are you singing in public? That's actually embarrassing. It's actually not. I'm about to be annoying as fuck. We're in the car. I'm screaming my lungs out. And I can sing really well, actually. So like, stop playing me, And that's what I mean. Like people be haters. People be haters. I remember that one girl, we were in the car. We were listening to Aston Martin music. Shout out to Rick Ross. And I was singing the chorus part and she was like, okay, that's enough. Bitch, you look like a toad. That's rude. Oh my God. This is what I mean. And it's funny because I saw a meme the other day where it was like, as a Libra, I hate to get mad because then I'm going to be mad for the rest of my life. And that's really how I feel. Like when I get to the point where like I'm mad at someone, I actually hate them for life. And now, like, there's things coming out of my mouth that I normally wouldn't say. Like, you look like a toad. Bitch, why would I tell somebody that they look like a toad? But if you hurt me, I actually am mad. And I know that might be, like, a little bit lower vibrational. And obviously, like, I don't mean any harm. Like, I hope that she's doing well, whatever. But, like, why were you acting like that? Why would you be a hater like that? That's so rude. That's so rude. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to say that if you are in a moment where you're feeling you're lacking a little bit of self-trust, you're lacking a little bit of self-confidence, or maybe just even like, just feeling a way about yourself, like, please remind yourself, write down all the beautiful things about yourself. Take a second to like, just make a list of 10 things that you love about yourself. Remind yourself who you are. snap back into some of those things that you really enjoyed as a kid. Like I told you, I like to dance around my house. I will put on my speaker, I will put Spotify on shuffle, like my liked songs on shuffle, and it's anything goes. We might at 1 second be listening to Chris Brown, the next minute, I don't know what else. We might be listening to Wicked songs from the musical. I don't know, but whatever it is, we're belting out the lyrics. We're living life. We're letting that spirit come out of us. Sometimes I like to watch like childhood movies and shit and laugh because that shit is still fucking funny. Whatever it may be, whatever you can do to kind of remind yourself of who you are, pull yourself back, rein it in, let all the BS be filtered out, and just be you. Be you, do you. Let it all hang out. Because quite honestly, that's what it's here for. You need to be yourself. You're here to let it all shine. And I mean, back here sneezing and stuff, you could have been in the other room. There's 2 other bedrooms here. Anyway. But that was my mission for today. You're not the ugly friend. You're actually not ugly at all, to be honest with you. And even if I told you, even if you're the girl that looks like a toad, you're not ugly. You just look like a toad. Somebody thinks it does. Somebody thinks that toads are pretty. Stop, Caitlin. Stop being an ass. All right. But anyway, you are everything, literally everything. And don't let anybody tell you that you're not everything. Period. All right. See you guys later on the internet somewhere. Bye. Why would you ever want to connect why would I ever want to use my phone as me saying it out loud like that didn't make sense, but why would I ever want to do that when I got this little snowball? Feeling a little out of sorts. Anyway.